Almost every property that we list needs some kind of staging or preparation before we hit the market. Now, staging isn't just about bringing in all new furniture, although this particular property was vacant and we did do a full stage. But staging is more about the things that we do to prepare the property for market. How do we present your home in the best version of itself? And there's three kind of core ideas that we try to stick to. First, you want to neutralize the space. The second is that we want to have no unfinished projects. And the third is that the property should be presented in a clean, light, and bright version of itself. If you follow those three things, you cannot go wrong in terms of maximizing your potential exposure for buyers. When we're talking about neutralizing a space, what we're really talking about is eliminating the specific items that make it obvious that somebody else lives here. The goal is that when buyers walk into a home, that they could actually picture themselves living in the space. The way that we achieve this is by avoiding any specific design choices, right? Things like bold colors, loud tile, or really specific items that distract from the experience when a buyer is walking through the home. Another thing is that you want to, depersonalize in the way of family photos, religious artifacts, or anything that's really overly specific to one particular group. But without a doubt, the thing that's the most impactful is decluttering. Look, I'm guilty of it, right? Less is more is the general rule. So this applies to items on kitchen countertops, personal items in the bathroom and on vanities, but it's also shoes, clothing, things that you use day to day that don't need to be in the home when you're trying to present it in the best version of itself. In a shifting real estate market like the one that we're in right now, it's more important now more than ever to not have any unfinished projects. Now, it's easy with things like a little bit of touch-up paint or replacing a loose handle on a fixture or a sink or something, but it's a little harder to figure out what exactly is an unfinished project. Now, for example, with this kitchen on this property, when we came in, the kitchen just felt tired, right? The cabinets were a cherry wood color, but they were worn as people have lived here. The handles or the doors were almost falling off the hinges. So we made a decision to not only paint the cabinets to give them a uniform look that's a little bit more contemporary, but we swapped out all the hinges so everything opens and closes and functions properly. So not only does this make the kitchen look more desirable and more contemporary in today's market, but now when buyers walk in, they're not thinking about all of the things or focusing on the negatives. They're not imagining what it's going to cost to renovate and replace the entire kitchen. They can instead think about, how can I entertain here? How can I use this space? They can imagine cooking for themselves or for their family and basically dreaming and living in the property instead of focusing on the negatives. It's very, very nuanced to know how far to take it, but that's the importance, again, of consulting with a real estate professional to know exactly what qualifies as an unfinished project versus a someday to-do list goal. If you remember nothing else from this video, please remember that your property should be clean, light, and bright. By achieving this, not only will buyers focus on the things that we want them to see and the features and all the parts of the property that we love, but it will help to, steer them away from the things that are maybe a little bit odd or the things that we don't want them to focus on. The simplest way to do this is to have your property professionally cleaned, have a handyman or somebody take a look at things like broken outlets or loose fixtures. In this property, for example, we had a couple of broken screens that were like very attention grabbing. People couldn't see the view out from the upper levels because they were focused on the screens that needed to be replaced. Another example is that in this particular space, we used a lighter colored rug as well as a lighter colored sofa to contrast the darker floors. Now, does this make all the difference? No, but naturally people's eyes are drawn up and they can see the property in the best version of itself. Clean, light, and bright, you can't go wrong. If you want to know more about what we do to prepare our properties for the market and how we net our sellers even more money, give us a call. Look, we're happy to come and meet with you, walk you through our staging consultation, discuss some of the pros and cons and the different action plans that we can take so that not only do you feel very informed and empowered, but more importantly, we have a clear idea of how we can get you the most amount of money for your property.